get a share of the microphone.
Calvin said, y'all do a good job, but whenever the defense makes a tackle, you don't say nothing about it. When their defense makes a tackle, you're all over them, something like that. You guys just go on to something else. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll tell the play-by-play guy about it.
How was that again? Calvin.
Armstead.
Oh. I gave up on him.
It's too hard to stand up quickly.
What do wheelchair people do?
Call me. I said, no, we've been calling you Glenn. Don't worry about it. He said, well, there's two reasons why we're not doing it. One, this is what I told Morgan. I said, yes,
sir. It's Saturday night. It's game time. It's showdown time. Thunderbolts here to face the Jets. We're at Auburn High School, Auburn Memorial Stadium, Saturday night, August 18th. The Jets are undefeated, looking to wrap up the Northwest Football League title, and the Thunderbolts are right on their heels at 7-1, and with a win over the Jets would take over first place in head-to-head comparison. And the Thunderbolts appear to be ready, but so do the Jets. The mayor of Auburn threw out the game ball, and it sounds like the city of Auburn and the Seattle area is looking forward to this game.
Well, we found out when we got up here, number one, we got a copy of today's sports section of the Seattle Times, and there is a big 3-page write-up on the Puget Sound Jets. Plus, we heard one of the officials, one of the guys wearing stripes, said he was watching Northwest Cable Network, or whatever they call that news, Northwest Cable News, which can be seen in Portland, by the way, on AT&T Cable. But there was a 5-minute story on this particular game and how important it was and everything about the Jets and the Bolts. So apparently this is a huge game. It already is, but the media has been pumping it up quite a bit here in the Seattle area.
And apparently one of many interesting games in the Northwest Football League playoff picture tonight. But this is the crowning game, and we have the kickoff. Glenn Bell back with Andre Harris, and a nice kick into the end zone, and it looks like they may not run it out. Andre Harris elects to stay back. Excellent kickoff into the penalty. Is that the penalty box or the goalie box?
That's the goalie box of the soccer field. That is correct. That is correct. A couple of interesting wrinkles we're going to see. Morgan will not start at tight end. It will be Studley, Nathan Berge. And at wide receiver, instead of Andre Harris, it's going to be Henry Newsom that starts along with Rod Nightingale.
Well, Henry Newsom has a size advantage. Number 22, Damon Dickey, lined up across from him at 5'11". Newsom's 6'2". And it's going to be a run prospect for the Thunderbolts. Huge push up the middle by that offensive line. And Calvin Simpkins, number 11, is the tailback for the Thunderbolts. He has over 10 yards and a first down. 14 yards on first down. Way to go, and that's exactly what you have to do with this Puget Sound team. They have a lot of tall guys, but they're really not all that big up front. So they are vulnerable
to the run up the middle, and that's exactly what the Thunderbolts just did, is went right up the gut on them, and they get 14, 13 yards on the very first play.
Simpkins out in the slot now, and Glenn Bell with Newsom in motion. Newsom, number 32. Quarterback is Wade Sparks, number 3, and he's in trouble, but he's going to throw to a wide-open Rod Nightingale, and I think he was behind the line, and that's going to count for another first down. So Thunderbolts' offensive explosion takes off right here on 2 plays, and now they're down at the 45-yard line of the Jets.
And another interesting development, we get this package from BC, or offensive coordinator Bob Cole, and on this package, he has listed Wade Sparks as the quarterback for the first quarter, Ryan Ivanoff as the quarterback for the second quarter, and then question marks for who's going to play in the second half. So that would indicate to me that whoever's playing better will play the second half.
Nice play by Sparks to pitch it out to Simpkins. Picked the ball up, had a bad snap, picked the ball up off the ground, pitched it to Simpkins, and Simpkins has another first down. What a push by that line. It's just like a tidal wave going over that defensive front of the Jets.
And I'll tell you, the play before that, Sparks gets away from the rush, finds a wide open Nightingale. If he throws that ball a little bit better, Nightingale had nothing but room in front of him, and on that one, a great play by Sparks to recover, get it out to Simpkins, and then he had a lot of room to run.
What I've seen of Sparks is he's a great athlete, makes good decisions, but sometimes his passes are just a little off the mark. And in that case, it was a catchable ball. Now this time, the Jets waiting up the middle for the carry, and the Thunderbolts get their smallest gain of the game, only 3 yards. Ivanoff has proved to be also a very gifted quarterback. Seems to throw a better touch pass, but may not have the scrambling ability, although he's made some great plays on the seat of his pants as well.
Exactly. And you have to like the 1-2 punch that the Thunderbolts can offer at quarterback. Even if the Jets were able to knock one of them out, there's another guy ready and waiting, and that was actually a good pass by Sparks, and the reason why is he threw the ball towards the sideline in a way where only his guy could have came down with it inbounds for the catch, and that ball was not interceptable, even though number 17, and that's Carl Wright, he was over there. Even if he would have caught that ball, he'd have came down out of bounds, and it wouldn't have been an interception. So that's a good throwaway and a good smart decision by Wade Sparks.
Well, the defense had that play covered to the T, and I was watching Nathan Berge, who shifted out as a 4th wide out away from his tight end spot, and he was covered fairly well by number 44, the linebacker Shannon McKenzie. So that was just good defense. There's Berge. Makes the catch over number 33, Will Postel, but it won't be a first down. Gain of about 4, and it's going to bring up 4th down and 4, and decision time now for the Thunderbolts, who are in field goal range. Do we have Jeff Woods tonight?
Well, apparently he's going to be here, but he's going to be late. So I don't know what that exactly means, but
that means we go for it. No, that's pretty cruel. But anyway, it looks like the Thunderbolts have decided to go for it. Simpkins and Glenn Bell in the backfield. And Berge out at tight end on the far side. Handoff to Simpkins. He's met in the backfield. Gets off a tackle. But it looks like he won't break the second tackle. And I think the Jets are going to take it over on downs.
So after a promising start to the drive, a couple of yards short of a first down, and that's rather unfortunate, but at least the Oregon Thunderbolt offense have served notice to the Puget Sound Jets defense. Hey, if we can move on the ball on you now, just wait until later. So definitely some concern, I think, as you can see practically the whole defense is going to come over here and talk, and they're going to try and find out how to stop that offense.
Well, if that one man hadn't met Simpkins in the backfield, I think that one block kind of screwed up that play. If he would have been blocked, I think Simpkins would have easily made that first down. It was just a missed assignment. So the Jets take over. Nice play in the backfield, and that's Berge going both ways. Number 88, defensive end, and that's going to be at least a loss of 5. At least.
And Andre Edwards is the poor sucker who gets wrapped up by Studley, And that's about we'll call that about a 3-4 yard loss.
That was awfully generous of the official, because I think he tackled him down around the 15-yard line. I have to check the replay.
Well, you have to remember spotted forward progress.
So Westendorf, number 11, is the quarterback. Fires out to number 87, Alfonso Harris, one-time Oregon Thunderbolt, and it looked like the ball hit the turf. I think Harris got a handle on that, and it's third down already for the Jets. Third down and long. Third down and 14, and that Thunderbolt defense seems very charged up, so to speak.
The whole team is charged up. They're just pinning their ears back, and they're ready to go. They definitely want to show everybody who watches the tape of this game that they're a better team than the Jets.
Nice pass by Westendorf, complete. That was a long pass. It covered 20 yards, but I think Westendorf threw it so far deep. Oh, and I see 2 flags as well. It covered a lot of distance, but it's going to probably be coming back or altered by the flags. Holding against the defense is the indication. Ouch.
Well, the pass was incomplete or complete anyway, so apparently there was a little holding going on out there, and it looks like the side that Kenny Land is working on. Kenny's wearing number 40 instead of 45 this week. So as you see that, he's got the light blue sleeves on. And apparently that's who they called the penalty on.
Handoff run. There's number 57, Dressler, head in the hole like Zach Thomas. Flag down again. Number 2, Rico Brown. Was that Rico Brown, the wide receiver, carrying the ball? Got a couple yards out of that.
And that's if even the play counts. And now we've got... Well, apparently it's a Thunderbolt penalty because the referee, Bob Murph, is talking to Westendorf, asking whether they want the penalty or not. And considering the short gain on the play, I believe they'll take the penalty, whatever it happens to be. We'll have to get the signal once Bob Murph has it marked off. But
poetic license. Ouch. A little home in here. Holding against the defense again?
Apparently that's what it was.
I don't remember seeing holding on the defense called very often on a running play.
Not me either. That's a curious one.
Run inside again. Nice push by that offensive line. And the Jets getting some momentum, turning it back against the Thunderbolts now. That was number 3, Malachi DeWalt out of Walla Walla Community College. 5'5", 215, a little bowling ball.
And DeWalt was the most valuable player in the FASCO All-Star game. Just before the season started, or somewhere in the middle of the season, they have a minor league football All-Star game. Well, DeWalt went to that game, and he was the MVP of that game.
We had an audible sound at the line of scrimmage, and the Thunderbolts fired across, but there might have been drawn. So far, all the flags have gone towards the team in white, though, and I don't expect it to go any different this time.
We shall see, but in the Northwest Football League, they use the NFL interpretation where you can jump off sides, but if you jump off and make contact with the offensive player, then it's an immediate dead ball, and that's apparently what they call.
I was just wondering why they jumped. There were 2 or 3 of them jumped at the same time, as if somebody had moved.
And you have to remember that the Thunderbolts, they're kind of loaded for bear. They're kind of like a pack of wild dogs. They're all tied up and everything, chained up and ready to go. And
they need to transform themselves into sled dogs and get with the team concept then. That's much better. You got 7 Thunderbolts on the ball carrier. Number 39, Anthony Davis with the stop, along with a lot of friends, and that was Malachi again, DeWalt.
And, of course, the first guy to help out Anthony Davis was Mr. Dressler.
Mr. Dressler.
Now, finally, the league has decided to update their defensive statistics, and we know who the top point getter is. Happens to be Aaron Dressler. Second is Nathan Berge. And then third is Greg Gadbois.
Thomas of the Northwest Football League.
Apparently he is.
Got lots of time for Westendorf, and that's not good when Westendorf has time. Nice catch over there. That looked like number 82, Brian Pittman, out of the University of Washington. He must be a tight end at 6'4", 250 pounds.
Actually, I think that was Derek Pleasant wearing number 88. At least they're wearing their older style jerseys. When I saw them play the Cougars over at the Kiggins Bowl, they were wearing these really bad uniforms that were mostly white with these green borders that were about maybe a couple of inches, and it was really hard to see their numbers. So at least they're wearing their gold and green, so where it's easier to. But it looked like it was Pleasant.
I think
who made
you're
that
right.
Last, made
and
that
he
last
lined up
catch.
again at Pittman. Lined up again at tight end. Westendorf somehow gets out of trouble. And pass is complete. But that's not the only thing number 25 caught. He caught a face full of Kenny Land as well. And no gain. Andre Edwards, the recipient.
Yeah, the recipient in more ways than one.
Almost looked early, but there was no flag there.
No, that was pretty close.
Contact. In fact, it was amazing that he held on to that football.
Yeah,
although I think he lost a yard.
And of course, when you hear a big hit, everybody goes ooh and ah, and you can probably hear that in the background. But Edwards got right up and he was jumping around and everything like, hey, I'm okay. I'm not dead. So let's
now Kenny Land is lobbying with the near side official. The Jets looking to go second down and a little over 10. On their 25-yard line. Big hole up the middle. And number 31, a familiar face on Thunderbolt lore, making his first appearance of the season is Brett Wells, or was that Dressler?
Well, I do know that it was Andre Edwards who had all that room to run.
Lots of room.
And so now 3rd and 1, but I didn't get who that was who finally did make the tackle. But yes, the barking dog is back. Yes.
He was out in that vicinity in the secondary. They're supposed to tackle the guy before they get back that far. Westendorf with a touch pass, trying to hit the far corner of the end zone. Good coverage by Van Velarde, and the pass wasn't perfect, so it wasn't caught.
Well, the thing is Van had a better shot at that. So again, just like Sparks did when the Thunderbolts had the ball down at the other end, Westendorf knows that you have to throw that ball to where only your guy is going to get it, and it can't be intercepted, and that's exactly what happened. If Van Velarde gets that ball, he's going to be out of bounds when he comes down anyway. So both quarterbacks showing veteran savvy, and now on 4th and 1, rather than risk going for it, they're going to use what probably is the most consistent and best kicker in this league. Sean O'Laughlin is going to come out for the field goal attempt.
Wait a minute, didn't he used to play for the Snohomish County Vikings?
Yes, one of the many, it seems.
That's not fair. Okay. No, it looks like number 6, Sean O'Laughlin from the University of Washington. Booming kick, but that doesn't look good. I could even tell from up here. Wide left.
And you can see the official near sideline looking over to his partner saying, nope, that was wide on my side, no good. So Sean O'Laughlin, a very dependable kicker. That was only from 33 yards. He's hit a 47-yarder this year, but a little bit wide on that one.
It had the distance.
But the accuracy was not there. So in a way, the Thunderbolts get a break, and they hold the Jets scoreless.
I was having technical difficulties. Why did the Jets elect to kick there? Was it a 4th down and long situation? Or?
Well, no, it was 4th and 1. It's just that maybe it's too early in the game to go for it on 4th and 1. Just go ahead and kick the field goal. You got O'Laughlin, one of the best kickers around. Wow, and that play looked like it was going to be blown up big time.
It was a delay.
Yeah, an unintentional delay as Sparks and Bell run into each other, but Bell managed to collect himself.
I saw him working on that in practice on Thursday.
Bell manages to collect himself and gets nearly 5 yards on the play. So you got to like that. But if you're a Puget Sound Jets defensive coach, you can't like how easily the Thunderbolts move down the field before you finally stop them. And if you're the Thunderbolts, you have to like the fact that you got down there, but that you didn't finish.
Well, and the Thunderbolt defense almost stopped the Jets on that last drive, but they kept giving up just some big plays, some 3rd down conversions. We'll see if the Thunderbolts can consistently move the ball. That's what they need to do with that offensive line, and then avoid the mistakes, missed blocks. Nice. Again, thrown behind Newsom, but Newsom, a big target, just latched onto that football, and he knew he was going to come down with it, and then probably come down with somebody on his back.
And that guy that came down on him was Damon Dickey, but again, to show that he's okay, Henry Newsom gets right back up and jogs right back to the huddle. So again, no problem. No problem for the Thunderbolts. And
first down.
Yes, first down.
Well, Henry Newsom showing some fire here tonight. Run inside. Simpkins breaks the first tackle, but he gets stopped for a short gain. Once again, the Jets had a little penetration on that running game.
And it was Deion Alexander that got in there, and he managed to trip up Simpkins so that he couldn't get very many yards. If he gets past Alexander, maybe that goes for more yards. But again, when you have a game with heavyweights, there's this feeling out process. This is very late in the season. Both teams have 8-9 games under their belt. Both teams on their 9th game, 8 games under their belt, and they're finally playing each other when they were used to in the past playing twice a season. So they would have already played by now. And so when you have a game between heavyweights, there's this feeling out period where things are going to get wild, but maybe there won't be any scoring, and that's exactly what's happened.
Now we have some new receivers in there. Jordan is in along with Andre Harris. Oh, and the ball went right through Harris's hands. At least that's what it looked like from up here. 4 Jets in the vicinity, but the ball perfectly thrown, and I think Harris just wanted that one back again.
And the general rule of thumb, when the quarterback gets flushed out of the pocket, as a receiver, you're supposed to come back to the ball. But Sparks, you can see him waving a receiver forward. Unfortunately, 2 of them did, Simpkins and Harris, and he tried to throw it to Harris, but it was over his head. Or maybe he was throwing it to Simpkins, but he threw it short of him. But either way, it results in an incomplete pass, and it's 3rd and long.
3rd down and 9, and Nightingale and Newsom back in. Anthony Jordan and Harris out. Simpkins in the backfield now along with Bell. Berge is the tight end. Blitz up the middle. Sparks is in trouble. Looks like the ball might have come out. And the Jets bringing some pressure. Got a nice sack. But looks like Sparks managed to hold on to the ball. I thought they might have stripped him. They held him kind of in the air and then tried to get the ball out.
And that's something that the Jets really try to do. They've scored a lot of points on opponents' turnovers this year, and we don't know the specifics, but a couple of weeks ago, the Jets really laid the wood to the Milwaukee Panthers, 76-7, and we don't know how many points were scored off of turnovers in that game, but all year long, the Jets have been very opportunistic on defense, trying to force turnovers. That first guy in is supposed to make the tackle. Everybody else after that is supposed to strip the ball and force turnovers.
Well, I think this might be the first Thunderbolt punt in about 8 quarters, because I don't believe they punted last game, nor did they punt much in the end of the game before that. Servarage is the one in there punting.
That's trouble.
And Servarage is going to make the tackle, the kicker. And they might as well not have punted that time, because the Jets returned the ball past where he punted it from. Well, about to where he punted it from.
And Tim, we also have a flag down, because it looked like Anthony Jordan, after the punt returner was forced out of bounds, hit him again, and so that's going to be half the distance to the goal line. Now they're spotting it at the 18, but that's going to end up being the 9 because of that personal foul penalty.
And I believe that was Joe Lewis, number 7, listed as a cornerback from Kansas Wesleyan University with the beautiful punt return. But I can't give all the credit to Lewis. It was well blocked.
It was.
And the Thunderbolts out of sync on that play. Lonnie Bowden ran out, and then number 41, Jeff Jones, ran in like they had, we need 12, we need 11, we need 12. And it was kind of in that area, Jeff Jones on the right wing where that hole was opened up, the guy that ran in late. So the Thunderbolt special teams kind of out of sync on that play.
And we've seen that before, too. And that's something that has to be addressed, I think.
Westendorf looking for the corner again. Kenny lands there, but it's going to be a touchdown. Alfonso Harris using his height, 6'1", and Kenny Land is 5'11", and he just out jumped him and brought it in. Nice touch pass by Westendorf.
And the help didn't come quick enough, which is what will happen with a shorter field. On a longer field, that safety can get over there to help and to come over the top of that and knock that away. But because they were so close to the end zone, they were only 9 yards away, Velarde couldn't get over there in time.
So Sean O'Loughlin in again to try and right is wrong and kick this extra point through, number 6. Big busted up the middle by the Thunderbolts.
But hold on, we also have a penalty on the play. And let's find out what this is all about.
This penalty factor is starting to add up on the Thunderbolt side of the game.
And they're going to call 12 players on the field on the Thunderbolts.
Ouch. So Lachlan gets that one over, gets to aim again. I saw number 29 in there. That's Jose Moreno, the kicker that they stole from Snohomish County, but he's the holder.
Yep.
He's not the kicker.
That's rather weird to have your backup kicker be the holder.
Flag is waved off, and so the Jets do not convert. We have no good signaled by the official.
Maybe,
so it will be 6-0 Jets.
Maybe what they did was they recounted and found out that they did have the proper amount of players, and then they
6-0 Jets. And we have, I think, a war here. Two very well-matched teams. I think the Jets may have an edge in speed and the Thunderbolts in size. Also, notice that there wasn't a lot of pass rush on that touchdown pass, and that might be the Berge factor. He's playing offense today. Andre Harris, dangerous in the open field, but unfortunately the field closes just before he can turn on the Jets, or turn on the afterburners, excuse me. But he does pull the Thunderbolts out to the 33-yard line.
Unintentional puntery on the part of Tim Adams on that one, folks.
Guilty as charged.
And now,
how many yards is that one?
That was a return of about 28 yards. Yes, about 28 yards on that one. The thing now is, the key here is for the Thunderbolts to answer that drive, such as it was, the whole one play of the drive. But answer their score with a score of your own, even if it's only a field goal.
Well, I'd say control the ball here. Nice run by Calvin. Push the pile. The pile just moved right back. A little help from number 63, Bubba Brown, and that pile moved back 6 yards.
I would say a total of 7 yards of gain, yes.
Sustain this drive. The last touchdown was set up by the return punt. You know, that was just a pure special teams goof up that cost them 6. They need to take the control back and move the ball on offense and play solid defense and get back to basics. Play some Thunderbolt football, not Jet football, and giving up big plays. And that was the old hand it this way, hand it that way. What is that, a trap?
A little bit of a trap, a little bit of misdirection. Kind of, it got the Jets off balance because Glenn Bell, the man formerly known as Half Case, gets up to the 45-yard line. He came up to me and he thanked me for not calling him that anymore, and I said, no problem. But Glenn Bell, good run, lots of room up the middle, a little misdirection, and it gets them a first down. But you're right, the Thunderbolts need to sustain this drive as we near the end of the first quarter already, last 25 seconds or so. But that's what the Thunderbolts need to do. Sustain this drive, put some points on the board, and answer the score that the Puget Sound Jets just got.
Harris and Jordan now the wideouts. Looking for Harris. Might have skipped off the turf. I think it's complete, though. Harris reeled it in, and it's good for 5 yards. And it helps Wade Sparks' stats a little bit, and that will end the quarter. And we'll flip it over, but they don't have to walk very far.
Oh, we were calling him half.
Stand there. So the teams that swap ends of the field, a whole 18 inches, and the official moves the ball to the other yellow stripe at the 50-yard line. Thunderbolts in Jet territory, but not by much. Second down and a long 4. Simpkins moves out to the slot, and Bell the single tailback. Toss outside to Simpkins, but he doesn't get a chance to get up and run. Defense right there. He might have got a yard, and again, we're padding Wade Sparks' passing statistics, but we're not moving the ball.
Well, that play is designed as Simpkins first lines up in the backfield and then comes into the slot because they want to get what they think is a mismatch between the running back and the free safety, because usually the free safety is not used to one-on-one coverage. And if you have a good running back like Simpkins who can run like the wind, that's exactly the play you want. But unfortunately, it was a really good tackle by Carl Wright after Simpkins caught the ball. So that play didn't work. Now it's time to try another one.
Now this time Bill checks out of the backfield. Draw inside to Simpkins. And you can hear the whole Jets sideline say draw, draw, draw. And a yellow swarm attacks Simpkins right after he crossed midfield. And now it's going to be 4th down again for the Thunderbolts.
Okay, now I've got to
down in about 3.
I've got to tell you this. The Puget Sound Jets have scored 336 points in 8 league games this year. That translates exactly to 42 points a game. They've given up 63 points, which is 1 point short of 8 points a game. So there has to be a reason for that, and I think we're seeing it right now.
Number 20, Mark Servarich, back to punt. Thunderbolts counting heads on that punt coverage team. Calvin Armstead, the personal protector. Punt is away just barely. Big rush, but there ought to be no return. Flag down. Servarich went down, but the ball's going to roll into the end zone. And so the Thunderbolts, even though there was 7 of them down there, couldn't stop the ball and down it on the 1.
Well, referee Bob Murph, this is what he had to look at. First of all, the first guy came in and he just barely nudged Mark Servarich, but that's not when he took out his flag. He took out his flag after the second guy came in and knocked Servarich down, and that's when he came up with the personal foul penalty. So, in my estimation, that was good.
It was a running into the kicker, but it still was a 4th and 3, so they still get the ball back.
Right. So either way, it still was a good call because they didn't call it on the first guy who just barely grazed him. They called it on the second guy who definitely got in there and hit Servarich. So that's a good call, and
what
that
a big
might
call! What a big play! The Lennon finally goes the Thunderbolts' way at the right time. And now number 12, Ryan Ivanoff, is in at quarterback for the Thunderbolts,
which is
as promised.
Yes.
Pitch out to Bell. Lots of blockers out there, but lots of yellow shirts as well. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Loss of 2.
Yeah, the Jets have a lot of speed on defense. They just don't have a lot of size, which is why you want to go up the middle in between the tackles on these guys. You don't want to do too many plays to the outside. Maybe it's sort of a change-up to let them know that, hey, you're willing to do this every once in a while and have them thinking about it. But not very often do you want that to have that happen, a play running outside of the tackles.
Yeah, not against this quick defense. 11 and a half to go on 2nd down. We'll see what Ivanoff has up his sleeve. Last week we were treated as some heroic throw the ball as you're going down for a touchdown. Number 12, Ryan Ivanoff. Trips to the near side. Ivanoff going to try and get some time. Throws a bad ball, flag down, and number 33 of the defense, Will Postel, had his hands on it. The receiver did not.
That was a very early hit by Postel, so that's going to be pass interference and a 1st down for the Thunderbolts. But that was way, way early. I mean, he hit him a good second or two before the ball even got there. So
that was only a short pass. Will they give him the ball where he hit him or the 15 yards?
No, they went to the hurt him the worst theory on pass interference, which is it's a spot foul if it's far enough down, but if it's only like a couple 3 yards, they're going to do the half the distance or 15 yards and the automatic 1st down. And that's just inside the 30. And it's Ryan Ivanoff at QB. It's still a Simpkins and Bell backfield with
2 penalties
Burton
now helping the Thunderbolts on this drive.
And it looks like the Linen's starting to go the other way now.
Ivanoff got time. Jets in coverage, but Andre Harris has the ball. trying to get away. There's some big guys out there. Number 55, Aaron Wardrip. Big linebacker had a hold of him. He probably wasn't going to get away from him unless he could have used his speed.
Well, he broke the tackle of the first guy, and generally that's what you like to see out of your receivers and running backs. Make the first guy miss. If you make the first guy miss, you have a good chance of getting a lot of yards, let alone a first down. You have a chance to get a lot of yards.
Especially when there's a linebacker trying to catch you
Exactly, because that first guy is going to be about your size and about your weight, about your speed. So if you beat that guy, you have some sort of advantage. And he managed to get enough for the first down inside the 20.
So now it's 1st and 10, Thunderbolts at the Jets 20. Ivanov checking off at the line. Simpkins, Bell in the backfield. Handoff, pitch out to Simpkins. Block from Bell. Simpkins cuts it inside. Somebody got his ankle or he was gone. Almost looked like Bell. Somebody grabbed his foot.
Well, actually, it was Deion Alexander who got in there. And not only did he trip him up, he also got up because Alexander was on the ground. After he tripped him up, he got up and made sure he finished the deal so that Simpkins couldn't get more yardage. So that's actually a good play considering they got 6 yards, but that could have been a touchdown.
They were outmanned on that corner.
It was a good cutback by Calvin. He made it look like he was going to go outside, then cut back and had some room. If it wasn't for Alexander, it probably would have been a touchdown.
2nd down now and 4. Nightingale and Harris, the wideouts, pitch the other side. Simpkins taking it outside. They say to heck with that. We're taking it outside anyway with that offensive push. And Simpkins firing in the hole. It's close. It might even be a first down.
And I think maybe another thing that we're not thinking about here is perhaps the Jets haven't faced a running game like the Bolts yet this year. Perhaps they haven't faced somebody like Calvin Simpkins who can get to the hole very quickly, as we've seen. We've seen some plays that develop very, very quickly, and all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, Simpkins is in the defensive backfield and running towards the end zone. And it could be that maybe the Jets just haven't tuned their defense into Simpkins just yet. Maybe later on in the game they will, but right now it doesn't look like they've caught up with him.
Pitch to Simpkins on the other side. Big number 61 leading the play out there. Simpkins still on his feet. Big number 61 Matthews tried to win the corner there, but it looked like he got pushed back. Well, that takes some doing.
Derek Law, number 12 for the Jets, blew up that play because he took on the lead blocker, Glenn Bell, and he just blew up that play because Simpkins couldn't figure out whether he wanted to cut it back or run around it. Even though Big Matt Matthews was in front of him ready to lead the way, he just decided, well, I'm going to follow you, and that turned out to be the wrong decision. But
well, speaking of decisions.
Yes. At least they have a chance here to cut the lead in half.
The Thunderbolts have decided Ivanov to hold, Jordan to snap, and Servarich to kick from about 30 yards. And it looked like the Jets almost moved. Nice looking kick. And it's good. Perfect. Nice kick. No flags, and it is the lead cut in half. 6-3. Jets still on. Big deal is a big deal.
I left you a message at
What's Simpkins so far?
about the same time I called on the hall. I hadn't heard back from you.
We tried your cell phone, but it didn't work, and we stopped down in there.
Okay, that's not too bad.
They said they might come, but there's a Seahawks game tonight.
Starts in an hour.
Number 14, Ryan Vandenacker with the big kickoff leg. Puts it up in the air. It's going to be down at about the 10. And the Jets going to try and make another big return, and he's got a hole. He's going to break some tackles. Tenacious tackling by the Thunderbolts. And a heck of a return by number 42, Kenny Harrison, a former Thunderbolt, and Portland State Viking. And the Jets are in business at their own 46-yard line, looking at midfield.
And once again, the Thunderbolt defense is going to have to come up big here after the special teams gives the Jets great field position, 46-yard line, only 54 yards to work with.
Well, they were lucky to make that tackle. Harrison almost broke the tackle and was gone, but fortunately the last man had enough of Harrison that his friends could get there and finish the job. Run inside, nowhere. Still on his feet, though, and the ball's loose. Westendorf, fortunate bounce right into his breadbasket, if you will. Loss of 5. Fortunate roll.
Yeah, and as we know, that football, being the oblong shape it is, doesn't exactly have a true bounce, but a little luck there. In fact, a lot of luck there. Probably used up all the green on the uniforms of the Jets with all that luck to have that thing bounce right back to Westendorf. That could have been 6 points the other way had it taken a different bounce.
Well, I thought maybe Malachi was down there in the middle, but he spurted out and tried to make yards. Now he's down on the sidelines with a sore leg. Looks like his ankle or his knee or his
looks like his ankle.
Maybe a cramp. But DeWalt out, and in his place, Andre Edwards, number 25 at tailback. Running inside is Edwards. Got a man tackling him. It's Dressler. Will not let go of the leg. And Edwards gets nothing.
And Aaron Dressler playing like the number 1 man in defensive points in the Northwest Football League. Now, I have to qualify that statement. The Puget Sound Jets have stopped sending any statistics whatsoever into the Northwest Football League. As a matter of fact, they haven't sent any defensive statistics, so there are no Jets listed in this point system. But obviously, it must be a good defense because they've only given up 8 points a game. But of all the people who are listed, Dressler is number 1.
Big play now, 3rd down and 14. But he's got time. Picked off by Van Velarde, and he's going to... Well, I thought he looked like he was going to make a cut, and he slipped on the turf. But Van Velarde stepped in there, made that pick. And boy, Westendorf had time to throw.
But the thing was that time was breaking down, and then he had to make a decision. And the Thunderbolts, who were in a zone, had everybody covered. And Westendorf made what for him is a pretty stupid mistake, and not one that he makes very often. He tried to force it in there. I was talking to Van Velarde in the locker room before the game. He said, "Last time we were here, we lost." And I said, "Don't do that to us, Velarde. Don't be saying stuff like that. Last time you played here, you had an interception. We need to see more of that out of you rather than that losing stuff." And he said, "Yeah, but we still lost."
Drew, I think you ought to go down at the locker room at halftime and mention that again. Tell him that he needs to get a fumble recovery as well.
Exactly.
1st down and 10, Thunderbolts in Jet territory. And it's still number 12, Ryan Ivanoff. Sends Bill out into the flat. There he is. Going to try and break a tackle and does. Squirts ahead for another, well, I think he got about 6 yards after the catch, but the catch was only good for 2, so that makes about 7 or 8.
And again, what you saw, he made the first guy miss. And because he made that first guy miss, then he got more yards, and I think this is probably a little bit of a departure from what Bob Cole likes to do. I mean, he doesn't mind throwing short, but I think what he's trying to do here is he's trying to exploit those one-on-one matchups. He knows that the running backs coming out of the backfield are going to have an advantage over the linebackers and the safeties of the Jets, and that's why he's throwing to them.
I think Bob Cole likes the short passing game as opposed to the long passing game because it fits better with his running mentality. Ball control in one form or another, and it's basically like a running play when you throw it out to the guy in the flat. And once again, though, he uses that oversized offensive front to carve another hole, and Simpkins picks up the 1st down.
And if it wasn't for Fred Hardwell, number 91 in green and gold, that would have been a touchdown. There was so much room in front of Simpkins, but he just couldn't hurdle over Hardwell enough to get free. But it is good enough for a 1st down.
Well, Ivanoff, determined to play some more in the second half, has said, "Coach, I'm going to bring these guys in. I'm going to make a touchdown. I'm going to get some points." Ivanoff barely gets rid of it, throws the big interception. Simpkins can get him, maybe. Simpkins with the try, and now Andre Harris. Carl Wright with the pick. And last week, Ivanoff got away with that. Oh, there's a flag down too. Last week, Ivanoff got away with that falling down pass, but against the secondary, it just didn't work.
Now, he got away from the first guy, and then he threw a wounded duck that number 17, Carl Wright, intercepts, and he takes it all the way down. Now, we do have a flag, but let's see.
That would probably be some kind of a interception return
Well,
penalty.
I thought I saw referee Bob Murph call holding. Yes, he signals it again, holding against the Thunderbolts, so the return will count to almost the 25 of the Thunderbolts. And again, here's the opportunistic Jets defense doing what they need to do, as the Thunderbolts were getting close enough to maybe even tie it or take the lead. And
I guess we didn't get to watch that particular part of the play.
Apparently not.
Well, the Jets made a beautiful interception return on that play, and the saving tackle was made by Andre Harris. But the Jets are setting up camp on the Thunderbolts' 25-yard line, 1st and 10. It was a nice play by Simpkins to slow him down, and then by Harris to get down there and save the touchdown.
And he took a vicious block from a defensive lineman of the Jets to do that. So he definitely paid the price. But
Simpkins?
Yes, he did. He really got crunched. But that allowed Andre Harris to come from the backside and make the tackle. He almost stripped the ball from Carl Wright, but he did manage to get the tackle.
Westendorf in the shotgun now. Doesn't have to run that far that way. No pass rush. Open in the middle and caught. Intercepted by Brett Wells. I don't know if that was an interception or a fumble. I think it might have been both.
An interception.
But midair, Brett Wells comes up after a crunching blow. And did you see who made that hit? That was was that Pleasant, or that was Derek Pleasant that caught the ball and got hit?
It was Derek Pleasant. He never really caught the ball, but it went off of his hands into Wells. So that's technically an interception because the ball was never caught by the receiver. So you can't call that a fumble. That's simply off of Pleasant's hands into Wells' hands, and that's an interception.
Well, it looked like Pleasant got popped when the ball got there as well.
I didn't see who it was that hit him, but that did burp the ball from him, but he didn't make the catch. He didn't have it long enough to be a catch. It came right out of his hands, went straight into the hands of Brett Wells. So that's definitely an interception and a Thunderbolts timeout right now. I mean, it was like catch.
Didn't he take 2 seconds?
It was right in there for me, a tweener kind of thing. Check the replay. Well, Ivanov still in. Well, actually, this is still the second quarter. We have 3 minutes, 22 seconds left. Draw play inside. Simpkins got a big hole. One more spin and he's gone. But with a saving tackle, that was number 24, Omar Frost, out of the University of Washington. Boy, there's some real credentials on this Jet team. University of Washington. They have more Portland State players, I think, than the Oregon Thunderbolts. And, of course, a lot of players from other teams in the Northwest Football League. The Jets, or the Bengals, and the Vikings. Jets recruiting heavily.
Apparently so.
And Simpkins gets a first down. Thunderbolts, 1st and 10 on their 19. 2 minutes, 37 seconds left. And a big defensive play. Too many yellow shirts in the backfield. That was Dion Alexander. That must have been a blitz because there was too many red shirt, white shirt.
That's what you call the run blitz. And that is you just simply fill every hole. And if you fill every hole, that means the running back has no place to go. However, if you run blitz during a pass, you better hope that your guy covering their receivers is on him because he's going to have no help whatsoever. And
so, does it make sense to run blitz with this much time left? And we got the 2-minute warning. You probably expect the other team to throw
on 1st and 10. Maybe that's what they were thinking.
It worked. Who's the other corner besides? Is it 5, Hendricks? He was player of the week last week.
That's right. I gave it to him.
To watch. I know who one corner
it was
is.
Hendricks and Land.
Yeah. It's good when a corner doesn't get noticed. You don't know who's playing corner, then he must be doing something right. Yeah. Bill out to the near side. Ivanov looking for a man. He's got Henry Newsom, but he missed him. Threw it a little late. Number 22, Damon Dickey, stepped in front, and the Jets are back in business. Boy, the Thunderbolts playing with fire now. 2 interceptions. Of course, the Jets gave him one back.
And after a little flurry at the start, now we seem to be trading turnovers. And I suppose that bodes well for the Jets. They can afford to trade turnovers and have no more scoring. They are ahead right now. But it'd be nice if the Thunderbolts could get a few more points sometime here and take the lead, and then they can afford to do that.
Well, and I think it'd be nice if the Thunderbolts could sustain a drive and move the ball. I don't know that the Jets have that capacity against the Thunderbolts, but they can definitely capitalize on the big plays. Now the Jets trying to make me eat my words and grind it out, get about 5. But I still think that defensive front of the Thunderbolts will eventually slow them down.
And now another thing that looms large. How about that blocked extra point after the Jets touchdown? Instead of being up by 4, you're only up by 3.
And then they get a field goal against you, and so you're only up, a field goal.
And that may play out to be very, very big, but again, we'll have to see.
Westendorf from the shotgun. 2nd down and 4. Looking in the end zone. Got a man, but I think it's almost picked off. He threw that straight to Kenny Land, but unfortunately it was below Land, and Land couldn't pick it off.
Yeah, I believe that was intended for Kendall McFarland, somebody who doesn't get a lot of playing time for the Jets, but he threw way behind him, and now the Jets are going to take a timeout.
They should.
Yeah,
Remember when we played that music and they just went crazy?
Defense trying to hang on. 3rd down and about 4. Westendorf behind center. Handoff inside. Nice hole. Andre Edwards with the touchdown. Oh, man, and it looked like he had nowhere to run almost. He climbed the back of his lineman, and there was a hole there.
And he broke enough tackles to get into the end zone. That does leave a minute and 5 seconds for the Thunderbolts offense to do something, but you just don't like to see them get into the end zone. But again, now this is where that blocked extra point looms large, because now you have to make this one just to be 10 points ahead when you should be 11 points ahead if you make it.
Well, and they also missed a field goal, so he's 0 for 2 thus far. But this one appears to be good. And the kicker's down. No flags. Trouble than if you give it up on the opponent's 20-yard line. So now a high kick. Looks like big number 51, Jonathan.
Russ Fouts.
Russ Fouts, defensive lineman. Caught the ball, got to give him that, and ran. He ran sideways. With his size, he probably should have went straight, but it wouldn't have probably mattered.
Well, Russ is not a kick returner, so I don't think he's got the concept of the north-south versus the east-west running. That's
he was
not
pulling on the
his
play.
Job. Yeah, that's not supposed to be his job. But that points up probably the only weakness in Sean O'Loughlin's kicking game, which is his kickoffs. His kickoffs don't get inside the 5-yard line like they used to. They go a lot shorter.
First opening kickoff was very deep, but I don't know if it was him.
But since then, though, they've gotten shorter and shorter.
Ivanov hands off to Simpkins. Simpkins nowhere to go, nowhere. Whole Jet defense is there. Stacking up the run and time running out, 46 seconds. And the Thunderbolts appear to be content to take this one to the locker room, lick their wounds, and come back out. Clock's running 35 seconds. And now we have a stoppage.
Timeout Jets, because they're thinking they might get the ball.
Well, they're just smaller, but yeah, they're going to be faster. Ball on the ground. Was that a pitch? Nicely recovered by Glenn Bell.
Oh, it was supposed to be another one of those misdirection plays, and the connection wasn't made. And with the loss and all that, the Jets are going to take their last timeout. I don't see why they're doing this, because they only had 2 timeouts going into all this. even though yes, that is their final timeout, so the Thunderbolts can just run out the clock on this next play, and there's nothing the Jets can do about it. So I'm not understanding why they're doing this. Why not just let the clock run out and go into halftime? If anything, they're giving the Thunderbolts a chance to do something.
Well, they might get a turnover like they almost did last play. Thunderbolts would have been well to try the victory or let's get it over with offense instead of trying to run the play, especially a misdirection play. How about a 46 dive or something of that, man, like this? Let Simpkins get loose and do something with it. Well, it looks like time will expire here in the first half. The Thunderbolts happy to get out of here on 4th down, but they're going to let the 14 seconds click and go back to the locker room and talk about it. Down 13-3. Again, it's a well-matched game, but the team who makes the fewest mistakes is going to win those sorts of games, and so far it's been the Jets.
On the cork board, or whatever you want to call it, in the Thunderbolts locker room, it's written in big letters, "Make no mistakes," because that's what the Jets have been doing all year, is converting the opponent's mistakes into points. And we saw that to the tune of 13 points in this game right here. A mistake on offense that their defense turned into a long interception return, and a mistake on special teams, which turned out to be yet another touchdown.
And the Jets have been mistake-prone themselves, but have been fortunate that the Thunderbolts haven't converted on any of theirs.
Exactly. And so we have another half to figure it out. But our score at halftime, Puget Sound Jets 13 and the Oregon Thunderbolts 3.
And between these two teams, the Jets average 42 points a game, and I would guess the Thunderbolts somewhere near that.
35.
So we expect to see some more points put up here in the second half.
The last 10 plays. I think it's me.
Oops, let me move this out of the way.
What was he thinking? Oh, and we got the game going on here. Okay, well, I got my microphone on, I hope. And hopefully the Thunderbolts won't make another big mistake on special teams. Ooh. They almost did, but number 21?
Yes, Mike London, a nice little clothesline tackle, stops a further advance.
Ooh. So we're off and running. Now, wait a minute. I thought the Jets kicked off in the first half.
They did.
I thought the Thunderbolts kicked off.
No, they received in the first half. They won the toss and elected to receive.
And that big, long kickoff into the end zone. So now the Thunderbolts have to play some defense. So now, 1st and 10, the Jets. We're going to play some offense, try to take it up the middle, and they get through. Big hit applied by number 10, Van Vliet, but not number 25, Andre Edwards, gets at least 5 yards for the Jets.
And again, we talk about this all the time. The guys you want leading your team in tackles for a whole season, a game, a half, a quarter, are going to be your defensive linemen. When your defensive backs are leading in tackles, that's not a good sign. Oh my! And I think we have a penalty. And by the way, the umpire is going up to Brett Wells. I think that's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against the Thunderbolts. Apparently, Brett's saying a few things uncomplimentary and
ouch.
Yeah, that's a big ouch because, well, they got 7-8 yards on that first down, so it's going to give them a first down any way you look at it. But you just don't want to give up 15 yards of field position right now. And the thing you have to remember is, no matter what you think of the officials, they are human and they do have feelings. And if you hurt them, if you intentionally try to get personal with an official, he will throw the flag.
I think of players who have things to say to the official. That's what I think of. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, if you're a team player on a team sport, you're doing what you can to win, and opening your mouth just isn't what it takes to win. So anyway, my rant's over. Call Dennis Miller. 1st and 10. Thunderbolts trying to strip the ball. Don't. And the Jets running back gets through for about 6 more. That's big number 31, Scott Sayers.
One of the recruitees, if you will, from the Snohomish County Vikings. As you were alluding to last week, you were saying you couldn't understand why Snohomish County seemed to be on their way, and then all of a sudden this year they weren't as good. Well, Sayers, one of the reasons why.
Sayers picks up 6, 2nd down and 4. Fake handoff. Nice cut to the outside by Andre Edwards. Not to the outside, but to the off tackle. And it looks like he's got a 1st down, and the Thunderbolts' front 7 is giving way.
And this is something we're not used to seeing from the Oregon Thunderbolts. People running up the middle, running up the gut on them. And it looks like they're going to call that 3rd and very short, maybe about a foot. But the trend is not good right now. Giving up yardage much too easily.
Number 90, Randall Irvin, came out of the Prowlers. He's 6'6", 300 right there, stacking up the middle. And this time they do, but it looks like the Jets, who needed only a couple inches, are going to get the 1st down.
Yeah, Westendorf got a couple of yards on that one. He just went behind some of his big guys, and then when that stopped, he just rolled around and got another yard out of it. But this is where we have to see this good Thunderbolt defense stiffen and stop them. I suppose, considering it's a 10-point deficit, a field goal wouldn't be too bad here, but giving up a touchdown would make it extremely difficult.
Quick snap. The defense didn't look like they were set, and the Jets took advantage. Again, number 25. Andre Edwards taking advantage. Irvin getting up slowly. And now Ronnie Salou, number 93, is going to come in.
And again, you don't like the trend coming out of halftime. Halftime is when you make all of your adjustments and you hopefully play better than you did. Right now, that's only going one way, and that's the guys wearing the green and gold right now.
Yeah, because they really didn't move the ball a lot in the first half.
And they didn't have to for the most part.
Nice misdirection play on the outside. Looked like number 5, Jake Hendricks, was in the backfield, but he wasn't able to stop. That was number 54, Carl McCrae, in the backfield, but he was unable to make the stop before the Jets got their 5 yards. 3rd down now, 3rd and a few inches again.
Now, we've slightly alluded to the playoff machinations, and there are a lot of them, so we can get into this a little bit.
Machinations?
Machinations, and there are a lot of them as far as the playoff picture in the Northwest Football League.
Westendorf with the keeper again. Takes a hit.
And
there's
now we're
a
going to
flag.
get a late penalty.
And I think it might have been, guess who?
Well, Wells was in the middle of that, but all of a sudden there was some woofing going on, and the official threw the flag. Now we'll have to see which way this goes. We'll see a personal foul against the Thunderbolts, and this is not what they need right now. They need to settle down, play some defense, stop the Jets, or at least force them into a field goal attempt. But they can't be giving up yardage like this. They've got to calm down, play some defense.
Well, and now they seem to be of the mindset that the officials are against them. In the first quarter, the officials called all their fouls against the Thunderbolts, but in the second quarter, they were aided in their field goal drive by 2 friendly calls. But now they kind of feel like they're playing against 18 against 18 against 11, and that's not going to get it done. They need to change the mentality, like you say. Westendorf pass complete to Alfonso Harris, who's thrown around after the touchdown. Big hit by Velarde, but Velarde's down. And Harris caught the ball and went in the end zone.
And again, as we alluded to before on a previous touchdown in this game, when you get closer to the end of your end zone, or you're back to your defensive end zone, that doesn't give your safeties enough time to come over and help out on that play. And all that was a slant pattern inside before anybody could get there to cover him. And by the time anybody got any substantive hold on him to take him down, he was already in the end zone.
I think I'm beginning to see a trend in this game. The veteran team against the upstart. Thunderbolts are a veteran, a team that have been around a while with a lot of new faces, new coaches, and guys in a new situation. And they just don't seem to be the mature team that they were last week.
That's a very good insight, because I think that's exactly it right now. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Thunderbolts are going to lose this game, but what they have to do... Are we off? Okay.
Number 6, Sean O'Laughlin kicking off, and he gets his foot into this one pretty good. Andre Harris catches it at the 6. He's got some blockers in front. But once again, the Jets converge, and they make it into a regular old kickoff return instead of the, let's call it a melee after the play. 1-2 flags. And it looks like the laces are starting to unwrap themselves from the football at this point.
And another thing, that if you talk to any other team in the league who has already played the Jets, they will tell you that they love to trash talk. And the thing about trash talking is you have to ignore that as much as possible, because the first thing they need to do, the first thing they need to do is stop the clock if they can get it stopped. And then secondly, it is stopped, but now they have to reset the thing to about 9 minutes.
Thunderbolts getting away from that push, and maybe the Jets stacking it up a little bit and forcing the Thunderbolts outside into the deep passing game where they seem less comfortable. And there it is, the stacking the middle, the big push up the middle isn't there.
And so what you have to do about that now is that you have to establish a passing game. Because obviously, when you're ahead by 17 points, you can take a few chances. You can say, all right, if you're going to run the football, we're going to stack it up and make you pass the ball. Well, now that we know that's happening, the Bolts are just going to have to tighten up here and execute. They need to execute a few pass plays, throw a couple of times, get a couple of first downs, and then that'll loosen up the Jets' defense to where they can run. But the Jets are definitely expecting them to run.
Well, I think they know that's what the Thunderbolts do best this year. Nice catch by Berge. Good coverage. Barely had a chance to land with the ball. Number 33 came across, Will Postel. And there was also, I believe, a linebacker on him, covering him as well.
Well, number 12, Derek Law, had his back to Sparks, who was the quarterback out there, and we were wondering about this at halftime. Who would come out as the starting quarterback in the third quarter, and it's Sparks. But Law had his back to Sparks. If he turns around, that's an easy interception. But that's a great throw by Sparks, noticing that Law's back was turned to him. He threads it right in there to Berge. Berge makes the catch, and there's that first down that I was talking about. Now they need to get another first down passing the ball, and that'll loosen up the Jets' defense for the run.
Number 32, Henry Newsom, lines up at tight end. Missed blocking assignments up front. That quick Jet defense just got away from all the blockers and stepped into the backfield.
Obviously, the coaching staff can't hear me because we're not live, but a run was needed there. Just because you beat them once on that pass, you still have to do it a couple more times before it softens them up. So they may have to go back to it again. The Jets do have a lot of team speed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can cover the receivers one-on-one. And then the other thing that we saw is that the Jets don't do a very good job of covering the tight end, which is why Berge got that catch for the last first down.
Now, number 91 broke through the line. That's Fred Hardwell. And he tackled the quarterback, which seems highly unnecessary and probably would have been a Thunderbolt foul if we had done that. But anyway, there's a flag down, and I don't even know, it might be able to call us against the Thunderbolts because one of the offensive linemen did move after the defense jumped.
Yes, and remember the NWFL has that rule, and they're going to invoke it, which is the do-over rule, which you said you'd never seen before, and that is when the defensive player jumps into the neutral zone, if the offensive lineman either shoots up or backwards, you kill the play and you call it nothing. If he shoots forward, then you call that a false start against the offense. If the defensive player comes in and touches them, then it's going to be offsides against the defense. But they call the do-over the washout foul.
2nd down and 10 then. Sparks throwing quick. Got Harris. Harris trying to break a tackle. He won't. 2 Jets swarm to the ball and a flag comes in. Is that a flag?
Yes, that's a flag.
Yeah, on the yellow tartan over there, it's hard to tell.
And if I could bet dollars to donuts on that one, I think that's going to be a face mask.
That's kind of unnecessary when you have 2 tacklers bringing down Andre Harris. But
well, we don't know which way that face mask is going to go. That could have been Harris grabbing the face mask to get the defender away from him. But we'll see which way they go on it. It is against the defense, so that's what they called. But
well, that's a 1st down, and Harris did not have the 1st down.
Well, but he was close enough. It was a good 7-8 yards on the pass and catch itself. But again, I think
the 5 yards on top makes the 1st down.
Right, and the Thunderbolts need to do this a little more often. Some more quick passing, get a couple more 1st downs, then go back to running the football.
I like your call, Drew. I think they need to throw the ball and show that they can throw the ball.
Exactly.
And then the Jets can't dare them to run.
That one's going to go against the Thunderbolts. It looked like Berge forgot the snap count and took off too early.
How do we get 3rd down and 10?
Well, it should be 1st down, but it'll be 1st and 15. The down box guy just forgot to dial up the 1 and left it on 3.
Have you seen Morgan Will tonight? Is he here?
Morgan Will is here. He is suited up, but he hasn't played yet. And apparently he got into a little tiff with offensive coordinator Bob Cole, and so Cole decided to bench him. And we didn't know what that meant, whether he was going to sit out the whole game or what. But we haven't seen him play at all, so we'll have to see what the extent is. That's another 5 yards for another false start, and this is a hole that the Thunderbolts cannot dig for themselves.
Well, it was another running play. It was going to be a handoff to Simpkins. Out of sync and youthful look the Thunderbolts.
I've just gotten word that Morgan Will took off his pads and his uniform and is over on the sideline somewhere. So a little dissension, I guess, on the far sideline with the guys wearing white and blue.
I wonder if they'll be playing for the Thunderbolts next year or join the ranks of the Buccaneers who want to tee off against the Thunderbolts. His comrades in arms over on the Buccaneers.
There are so many ex-Thunderbolts in this league, it's not even funny.
Nice moving, scrambling in the pocket by Sparks. Got a man. Oh my goodness, he caught that.
But he caught it out of bounds.
What a wonderful snag. I guess he didn't get 1 foot down.
And perhaps if our cameraman Scott Wardward is on that, you can see Mac McInnes about the 32-yard line on the Thunderbolt sideline, showing that the catch was made, that he reached over, but his feet were still in bounds, and that should have been a catch, but the official disagrees and calls it incomplete. So now we finally have second down.
I think that's the offensive highlight of the game thus far for the Thunderbolts. It was that catch. Of course, it didn't count, but it was by far the most spectacular play. Sparks getting out of trouble, throwing the ball out there, and then Simpkins coming down with it with 4 defenders around him.
And remember,
a coach.
You remember we talked before about, adversity is supposed to build character. Well, here's another game where the Thunderbolts have a little adversity. They've got some work to do. It's cut out for them. Now we have to see if they execute.
And there's a man with some character, Henry Newsom. Flag down. Henry Newsom with the completion, about 10 yards. And what could that flag be? Some sort of a contact or holding?
Well, it's holding against the defense. The way the calling official was pointing around and everything, I thought he might call offensive pass interference, but he just called defensive holding.
Is that a automatic first down?
Well, I guess that's another one of these Clark County, King County, Pierce County, whatever rules, because the way we had done it before was it was kind of an unwritten rule, but we did it the NFL way, which is 5 yards and an automatic first down. Apparently, they've had a change of heart league-wide about that, and they just call it 10 yards and the repeat of the down.
This was the King County interpretation today.
The King County interpretation, or the Auburn interpretation.
Which, 10 yards.
10 yards
And
from
down
the
over.
from the last spot. So it was obvious, yes, it was 2nd and 20 after the 2 5-yard penalties, and now it's 2nd and 10.
And Pat Coughlin has to cross off Henry Newsom's name because he doesn't count, and Wade Sparks doesn't get the completion. But Henry does have a couple bruises to prove that he caught the ball.
Yes, he does, and he has also videotape evidence. And that was Big Bubba Brown taking off a little bit early.
Well, and number 4, Rod Nightingale, fell out of his stance on the far sideline. Flag down.
Did anybody?
Randall Irvin,
Yeah.
number 90. 2nd down and 14. Something like that. Too long. Sparks looking deep. Got Henry again. Henry catches. Henry has a first down.
And
I think our MVP of thus far in the game is going to be number 32 on offense.
And that's a good play, and that's a little momentum shifter right there. You get a good pass from Sparks. He zings it right in there, threads the needle, gets it to Newsom. Newsom holds onto the ball. They get the first down.
And now Newsom is in tandem with Andre Harris. Nightingale out. And Andre Harris, of course, a starter most of the season, was replaced by Newsom today, but now it's Nightingale out. First down Thunderbolts, down 3-20. And we have 4 minutes left in the third quarter. Sparks looking to throw again. Throws it perfectly to the Jets. Simpkins going to try and make the stop. Somebody got there. And he's out at the 2. That was number 5, Dion Alexander. But hey, that pass ended up right in his stomach.
Remember a couple of weeks ago when we talked about Naaman Archer, and if the Jets get this thing into the end zone, it's going to cost them very big.
First and goal, big number 41, going to try and push the pile, and does. That's Don Adams, fullback / D-line, 5'11", 260.
You mean missed it by that much, Don Adams? Or no, probably not.
No, 99. What we have here is chaos.
Yes. The Native Americans are planning to shoot off a big arrow. Of course, back then they said Indians because there was no such thing as political correctness. But we can joke about this stuff now, I guess. But it's not exactly the happy circumstances that we would want to start joking. But apparently the trend seems to be that the Puget Sound Jets are going to win this game. Now there's another blocked extra point, something I like to see, but when you're losing by 23 points, those blocked extra points are almost irrelevant unless you can come back and make the Jets pay for them.
That was number 35, Calvin Armstead, made an excellent play towards the ball. And then somebody fell on the holder, number 2, or a receiver, somebody who could make a play if you had a bad snap. Might be able to get you 2. Now Moreno be kicking after he got up limping. And he's another former Snohomish Viking.
As the wind blows the ball off the tee, something that happened a couple of times during the playoff game here last year. Sometimes the wind starts to kick up, and if it happens to blow off again, then the official will require somebody to hold the ball there so he can kick it.
Moreno gets his leg underneath, but it's a chip shot 9-iron kick back to number 51, who's polishing his kickoff returns. Russ Fouts, defensive lineman from Poway High School, 5'11", 250 with his second kickoff return, and this one not bad.
Out to the 43-yard line, so a short kick. And what I would like to see is the Thunderbolts make the Jets pay for this. You got to make them pay whenever they make a mistake like this, giving you great field position, throwing an interception, giving you a fumble or whatever. You have to make them pay for that. And especially now that you're down by 23 points, you got to do something about these things. You have to take advantage of this. And
2 minutes, 59 seconds left in the third quarter.
The unfortunate thing about that last possession was they were moving the ball down the field until the interception.
And Simpkins takes it outside, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, pushes the pile. A little help from downfield from his friends. The ton of Thunder offensive line making its presence felt outside. Gain of 5, but the running game, although they changed it up by taking it outside, the running game not going to get the deficit down very fast.
Now it needs to be a quick, lightning thunderbolt strike type offense. Pardon the pun. With this little time, with only 17 minutes and about 10 seconds left, between the end of the third quarter and all of the fourth quarter, you have to start scoring points quickly, and you're not going to do that with the running game unless you spring some big runs.
Big pass rush. Sparks is in big trouble,
and that definitely won't get it done. You have to protect for the quarterback.
I don't see any running backs coming out of that pile, so apparently there were none back there to pick up the extra pass rushers.
And that's the problem when you empty your backfield, trying to get a lot of receivers into the pattern, is that you're vulnerable to the blitz. We saw that happen with Steve Spurrier in Florida when he started doing that, and everybody started blitzing on him, so he had to change it. And again, this will have to be a change on the fly for the Thunderbolts offense. They can't afford to do that anymore. They have to have at least one guy back there to help block just in case they do send people on the blitz. And remember, with the Jets being ahead, they can pin their ears back and go after the QB.
Well, this is about the most impressive defensive pass rush I've seen out of anybody this year. These guys can get to the quarterback if no one else can. Sparks got hit late, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I don't think it was late, but it was a very vicious hit. He's getting up with a little help, and he's walking back there, but he may not know where he is, and I don't think it really makes a difference because it's fourth down, and the Thunderbolts are going to kick anyway. But this was not the answer you needed after the other team scores a touchdown to go up by 23. And now Jeff Wood finally did arrive at halftime, and he'll have the kicking assignments for the rest of the game.
Wood wearing number 1. Back from his tour of duty with the Carolina Rhinos, the Arena League, but of course they aren't in the playoffs. That's a big mistake. He touched that football. In fact, it doesn't matter, does it? He touched it. That should be a touchdown.
Well, now hold on a second. If he touches the football, that is still considered a muff. And on any kick, if you muff the ball, it cannot be recovered and advanced by the kicking team. However, if it is a fumble can be recovered and advanced by the kicking team.
So if the guy touches it, it can't be advanced?
It cannot on a kicking play. Now, apparently the officials are huddling together, and apparently they're going to say that the Jets returner did touch the ball.
But if he touched the ball...
If he touched the ball, then that's fine. The Thunderbolts, the kicking team in this play, can recover the ball.
But
they just cannot advance the ball. And the PA announcer says it exactly. It's a muff. It is not a fumble. A fumble, you have to have possession first.
Is that a...
All right, so Bob Murph is called timeout. He goes over to Kenny Austin, who, by the way, this year was voted into the American Football Association Hall of Fame, so congratulations to Kenny. But Bob Murph was telling him what happened on the play, Kenny, was that your returner touched the ball, which means it's allowed to be recovered by the Thunderbolts but not advanced. That's why the Thunderbolts have the ball inside your 10-yard line with a first down.
And now Ivanoff back in, and the Thunderbolts their advantage in the middle, but the Jet saying there is no advantage in the middle. And it looked like Glenn Bell got stopped for the loss.
And again, Tim, I don't think they've passed enough to soften up this Jets defense. They're going to have to throw some more. Maybe if they get closer, they'll be able to use the run to their advantage. But for right now, I just believe that they need to throw the ball a little bit more. For one thing, it's going to save them
the
some
right
time.
guys, though. Throw it to the guys in the white.
The guys in the white and blue, not the green and gold.
Berge in motion. Pitch to Calvin Simpkins. Simpkins met at the line. Second down and goal will now be third down and goal from about the 9 or 8. Basically no gain, and we have the end of the third quarter. Jets lead 26-3. Thunderbolts in scoring position. Thunderbolts trying to get some points in a hurry now. Got the ball in scoring position at the 9-yard line, but it's third down and goal.
And this is an important play
Ryan
right
Ivanoff
here.
fakes the handoff, throws inside. Nathan Berge there, but also there was number 42, Kenny Harrison. And they both went up for the ball, and the ball was high, and neither one came down. So now the Thunderbolts have to decide on fourth down, and they probably would have to go for it, being down by 23.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't afford to kick a field goal here because you would still be 3 scores down. You might as well go for it. Try to punch this thing in the end zone. If you don't make it, then at least you got them deep in their own territory, and you might be able to do something. But I think they really need to score some points here in order to get back into this game.
Nice coverage on the tight end, though, on that play by the Jet D. They were looking for Berge all the way. Good time to throw now. Henry Newsom. And is it the Rams against the Titans? Is he on the 1-yard line? Did he reach the ball across? No.
He did not. He was hit down inside the 1, so the Jets defense holds.
However, the Jets could not be in a bigger hole, so to speak, than they are with the back end of the football on the goal line.
And now it's going to be up to the Thunderbolts to take advantage of this, even though they didn't get into the end zone. Stop them from getting a first down and make them give you the football back in good field position.
I think they ought to be thinking safety, and that way they get basically get the field goal, plus they get the ball back. And they would be within 3 touchdowns and some different types of extra points of tying the game back up. And it looks like they are going to try and put some pressure back there. Draw play up the middle, and I don't think you want to run a draw play, do you, on the shadow of the goal line?
First of all, being in the shotgun with the ball near your own goal line, I don't think is a very good idea, because what happens if that snap goes away from you and goes out of the back of the end zone? That's the 2 points right there without you even handling the ball. And then running a draw play, and the guy barely gets out of the end zone with it. So that to me is a bonehead maneuver
sure
right
he got
here.
out of the end zone.
He barely got out of the.
And now it's shotgun again.
And I just don't get this. This
Dressler's coming. Bad snap. Nice blocking. Good execution. Wow. Derek Pleasant makes the big play. I don't know how he did it. Was that a one-handed catch?
It was a good catch. It was a good catch by Derek Pleasant, and Westendorf had to roll right away from pressure. But he got the pass off, and Pleasant was just open enough on the coverage of Brett Wells to get the catch. And let's see, a first. They've got the sticks going the wrong way here. They're going to have to get that fixed before.
Well, now was it a first down, or is it going to be fourth down?
Well, apparently they are going to. Apparently they are going to measure. It looked like he got the first down and
worked on and practiced. Very undefensible.
Yeah. But Westendorf had to run for his life just a little bit, step around some pressure. And I still say that's not a very good idea to go in the shotgun with the ball inside your own 1-yard line, even with this big a lead.
Thunderbolt defense up to the task this time. Chases the ball carrier outside and into his backfield, and for a loss.
And then let's look at another even more even worse scenario, if you're the Jets inside your own 1 yard line, let's say it's a bad snap that the quarterback loses control of, the ball's loose in the end zone, and the defensive team scores a touchdown just simply by falling on the ball. That's why I thought that was just a bad move all the way. Now that they're far enough away from the end zone, that's fine to be in the shotgun, but they were just courting disaster and they got away with it.
Westendorf, another high snap, controls, had a man open, but it was a bad throw. It looked like number 2, Rico Brown, was over there all by himself. Van Velarde came over late, but the ball wasn't there. Actually, the ball might have been closer to Velarde.
Yeah, it was definitely a badly thrown ball, and, quite frankly, Tim, without damning him with a faint praise, I really don't think that Westendorf has played all that well today. He has taken advantage of some Thunderbolt mistakes, which is why they're up by 23 right now. But it seems to me that if the Thunderbolts don't make these mistakes, the Jets aren't even in this game right now. Westendorf has not played well, and they really haven't moved the ball as much. They've just gotten the ball with a short field.
Another high snap. Westendorf controls. Got a man this time. Alfonso Harris. Got a number 10 tattooed on his face from Van Velarde, but he held on. And I guess they gave him the first down, although it looked pretty close to me.
Yeah, apparently that wasn't as close as it was last time, though. They just went ahead and sent the chains down.
Well, again, the Thunderbolts giving up a big play. They can stop you on first down and second down and then give you a first down on third down, or they can pin you on the half-inch line of the goal line and then let you out.
And that's just the annoying and frustrating part about all that.
Another bad throw by Westendorf.
Well, his receiver was chucked out of bounds by Kenny Land, and he tried to come back in and be the first one to touch the ball, which actually would have been a penalty. So he just stayed out of bounds. That's why it didn't look like there was a receiver open over there. Now, as long as we're where we are right now with a 23-point Jets lead, we might as well start talking about the playoffs.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
And first of all, if the Bolts win this game, which would look like be close to a miracle right at this point, or if they win next week, they clinch second place in the Northwest Football League, and that would be a home game in the first round against the third place team.
That's pretty good.
That was a lot of yards on
but
first
the third
down, or second
place
down.
Team could be just about anybody else except maybe the Jets.
Well, yeah, the Jets can't do any worse than second. If they win this game, they clinch the league. It doesn't matter what they do next week. And now, as far as all the rest of it, we have 5 teams that are playing for basically 2 playoff spots after you take into account the Jets and the Bolts, who are pretty much in.
Third down and 2 now. Inside run. Lonnie Bowden with the stop. Velarde with the tattoo. I think he's going into the tattoo business tonight. But nevertheless, the Jets once again successful on third down.
And to show you how muddled this playoff situation is, even the 3-5 Eastside Chiefs and the 3-5 Snohomish County Vikings have a mathematical chance to make the playoffs. That's how muddled this is 7 teams are in contention for the 4 playoff spots that are available in the Northwest Football League.
As we know, because they're playing right now, some of those games might be over, but as far as we know right now, first down and 10. Westendorf. Jets moving the ball. Looking across the middle. Velarde looking for the pick. Tried to steal it from Pleasant, but Pleasant kind of knocked it down. It looked like he was playing defensive back on that play.
It looked like Van Velarde made a good play on that one. And this is, if you ask me, this is another bonehead maneuver by the Jets. You're up by 23 points. Sure, it's 10 minutes and some odd seconds to go in the fourth quarter, but why are you throwing the football? The clock is your friend right now. You want it to run, and yet they're throwing the football where an incomplete pass stops the clock, and then all of a sudden you're giving the Thunderbolts a chance, not only by stopping the clock, but what if you throw an interception and the Thunderbolts take it right back for a touchdown? So,
well, it's a good point, but I see that they're trying to play to win by moving the ball. They have Oh, what was that?
Well,
they have moved the ball out from the 1 inch line to here by throwing it. And they obviously want to keep control of the ball, though Westendorf didn't look like it on that play.
And that was actually a good, smart veteran play by a good, smart veteran quarterback. They hadn't called him in the grasp yet, so he just simply threw the ball to the closest legal receiver that he could see. And apparently there was a guy there because there is no flag thrown by anybody. So I guess they're not going to call a grounding. But and I believe it should be third down. The down box has it as down number 2, but I believe it's third down now. But that's a good, smart veteran
and
play.
The clock says it's 3rd and 3, but we all know it's 10 yards to go.
It should be. And now one of the officials the line judge is going to come in and say, yes, it's third down, not second down. But getting back to this playoff situation here, in order for Snohomish County and Eastside to make it, they have no choice. They have to win both of their remaining games and get a lot of help from a lot of other teams in order to make the playoffs. So those are your 2 least likely possibilities.
Well, hopefully they're not counting on help from the Milwaukee Panthers, or who else could help them? Probably not. The Washington Cavaliers might have trouble helping one of those teams.
And then next up,
they've won 0 game. Well, one of them beat the other one, but other than that,
yeah, exactly right.
Been competitive.
And then the next team up in the line, which would be the 4-4 King County Jaguars. Now we owe them a score. Now they came to Portland and after we beat them, 38-6, the coach insisted that they were going to meet us in the playoffs. And 48-18, and he insisted that we were going to see them 48-18, and he insisted they would kill us in the playoffs. Now the thing about the Jags is they hold the tiebreaker over the Bucks, the Eagles, and the Vikings. So if they get tied with the Bucks, Eagles, or Vikes, they would get the spot.
Wow!
And that's they're kind of sitting
mostly everybody else who's out there.
And so if they win their last 2 games and they're tied with the Bucks, the Eagles, or the Vikings, they would get that tiebreaker. I think that's the first time we've seen Sean O'Laughlin punt today, isn't it?
And a nice punt to Andre Harris, but unfortunately Calvin Armstead was 5 yards offside, and so I think the Jets they won't get a first down, but they might just decline it. Successful punting got the man out. They might just decline it.
Another way you could look at this, why not send him back out and waste more time by kicking again? Plus, you're also 5 yards further, so you might be able to pin them more than 5 yards with a better kick. Though that was a pretty good kick.
A little better coverage. It was a great kick, but Harris made the best of it from his end.
But it looks like they're going to refuse the penalty. And again, I think for the Jets, you want the clock to run, so you're going to do anything you can to make sure that clock runs and get this game over with when you have the big lead. I mean, they're not the team that needs to conserve time. It's the Thunderbolts. That's what they need to be doing.
And Ivanov in at quarterback for the 4th quarter. And 9 minutes and 4 seconds, and now they start the clock.
And returning to the playoff possibilities yet again. After you talk about the Jaguars, then you move up to the Eagles, the Columbia Cougars, and the Multnomah County Buccaneers, who pretty much hold their destinies in their own hands. Each has 3 losses, and if they win, they pretty much are in.
Ivanov, pass complete to number 7, Anthony Jordan. Gain of about 7.
But like any sitcom situation, not everything is easy, because if there is a 3-way tie between the Eagles, the Cougars, and the Buccaneers, we have a Mexican standoff, because
A beat B, B beat C, C beat A.
Exactly right, and that would be a nightmare. They would probably use point differential or something like that to determine who would break that tie. And so it's a
but if
really
it was
big
a 4-way
mess.
tie with the Jaguars, they would go win out because they have head-to-head over those 3 teams.
Yeah, right, because they've beaten 2 of those 3. So I believe they would win over that. There were actually 3 flags thrown on that play. And I think that's going to be a defensive penalty, probably a personal foul, a cheap shot, or something like that on the Jets. But,
well, and I believe the pass was incomplete, so that would make a first down.
Let's see if they do call. They are talking to Justin Wachnick. And they're just going to call defensive holding, but that's still going to be enough yardage for the first down. But to give you an idea of how things look right now, I'm just going to go through the teams and tell you who they hold tiebreaker advantage over, and then you can sort it out from there. The Eagles hold one over the Bolts because they gave the Bolts their first loss of the year, because this looks like it'll be number 2. They also hold over the Bucks. The Thunderbolts, if they were tied with the Cougars, the Jaguars, the Vikings, and the Chiefs, they would hold advantages all over them. The Buccaneers would hold it over the Cougars, the Vikings, and the Chiefs. The Cougars over the Jaguars, the Vikings, and the Eagles.
Can you go through that again? Wow.
And a big hit. Kenny Harrison coming in. Big major league hit on Nathan Berge, but Berge's just getting up and he's pointing
first
down, but
and now the Jets are all pointing at the scoreboard.
Yeah. And you remember what I said earlier? The best way to take care of trash talking is to point to the scoreboard and say, "Hey, we're winning." But and that wasn't even
Berge not taking any of that though. And he lines right back.
The Jaguars hold tiebreaker advantages over the Buccaneers, the Eagles, and the Vikings. The Vikings over the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have none, but if they win their 2 games tonight and next week, they would hold a couple. And that's how muddled the playoff picture looks right now.
Now, Ivanov's, I don't know if his arm was distracted or what, looking for Berge. Berge saying, "Give me the ball, I want to go hit 42." But the ball hit the ground, and then Berge didn't get his chance.
Well, and Ivanov didn't even really get the pass off unobstructed because once he came through, Jets defensive lineman got a hand on the ball. I could hear the slap from up here, sort of like what you hear in a basketball game when somebody slaps the ball while it's being controlled by an opponent. You just hear that.
Well, Ivanov goes to the foul line and takes 2. It's going to be 3rd down and 2.
I don't even think that would have been a foul. I don't think they got any wrist on that one.
Oh. And Ivanov trying to take it up the middle. Nice defensive stuff, but I think he might just have enough.
I don't know. That's going to be close. That's going to be close.
A little extracurricular forearm activity on the part of the guys in yellow.
See, and this is a nightmare for the Thunderbolts because the Jets love to trash talk, and they're up by 23. It would be a lot easier if it was the other way around because then the Jets could just simply point to the score, or the Bolts could simply point to the scoreboard and say, "What are you talking about? We're beating you." But now this just goes more.
Now they're saying, "Oh, we are idiots."
And apparently,
and then they believe it. He did get the first down though.
Apparently, yeah. It looked like that they were going to spot the ball in between the 40 and 41. Now they've spotted it a foot inside the 40. So
I didn't see Ivanov's body down that far.
I didn't see the ball down that far either, which is the more important part.
Right.
Incomplete pass on first down.
So now 6:26 left, and the Thunderbolts at least minute by minute here trying to get a touchdown. Now, this won't be a game unless the Thunderbolts get a touchdown. And they have put together a decent drive thus far, but it's just too late. They haven't come together until now. It's just a little too late. They might have to try it again later on in this playoff season. Only it would be a road game.
Well, the thing about being second, of course, is that you're the second place team, then you would host the third place team. And that's what the Bolts can get if they win next week. Because it appears that one victory that they need to clinch second place isn't going to happen this week. As Simpkins was pretty much stuffed, but he did actually get a couple of yards before he was pushed back.
I really admire the enthusiasm of the Jets. I don't know if they're just pumped because they're in the lead, but boy, they sure bring it to the house. I mean, they are a serious football team.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they're the most talented team out there. I'm not saying they're not, but as far as an attitude, they come to play.
They do, and you can see why now. You can see why that they're averaging 42 points a game on offense and only giving up 8 points a game. You can see why that they're 8-0, the defending league champions, and we've heard that they're the number 2 ranked, nationally ranked.
Is that right?
The number 2 ranked team in
There's over 300 teams in the league in minor league football in the United States. Ivanov pays the price, gets the first down, and the Jets are happy to give it to him, hoping he'll be in a couple pieces by the time these two teams meet in the playoffs.
Alexander and Walker. But
Thunderbolts still driving towards the other to get that elusive first touchdown, however, and they do have a first down at the 27-yard line.
And if you're asking the question, well, if the Jets are number 2, what about the Thunderbolts? Well, they came in at number 7. And a win tonight would have been great, because you beat the number 2 team, you're going to move up even from number 7. But now it appears that they might be lucky to stay enough in the top 10.
And the Jets will have beaten the number 7 team. Now we got Calvin, and he's got, every other game he's gotten a touchdown on that play, and no one's caught him, got a foot. Actually, I don't know. I mean, it seems like last week he would have gotten out of that.
It seems like all year long he would have got out of that. But yeah. Joe Lewis came up with the touchdown-saving tackle, and
there's only a gain of 7. So clock running also. The Thunderbolts using up clock. Trying to get that touchdown, though. For whatever reason. They they want to get that touchdown. They want to draw some blood. In fact, if they did, they would put the Jets under their...
It's a moral victory to say you held them to fewer points than they usually got, and that you scored more than they usually give up.
Well, the Thunderbolts... Also, what was I going to say? I think trying to get some points. Ivanov got Nightingale. Nightingale's toe was over there on the line, but they're going to give it to him. Flag down. It's like a...
And let's see what that's all about.
That would be a first down to Nightingale.
Well, it could be a tack on, because they're talking just to the Thunderbolts. What that could have been was roughing the passer. Exactly. And that's just simply a tack on right there. They would go half the distance from, I believe they're marking the ball just outside the 11, so it would be somewhere around the 6.
Well, what I was going to say is this is a good Thunderbolts team. We saw them last week dismember an average Northwest football team, a playoff contender.
Playoff contender.
In the Vikings, the Snohomish County Vikings. And today, they just aren't sharp. And it's not to say that the Thunderbolts don't have the talent to take this all the way. I don't feel like they've been outclassed today as far as their athleticism, their size, their ability. But they have been outclassed in their cohesiveness, their maturity, and their intensity.
And their attitude, the will to win. And this is a veteran-laden team that the Jets have, and they're used to winning. They have that winning attitude, and with the Thunderbolts being so youthful and inexperienced, perhaps you're onto something when you say that the maturity has a lot to do with it. You have to learn how to win in sports and learn how to handle things like this, especially adversity. While this is the third time we've seen adverse conditions from the Thunderbolts, this is the second time we've seen them not come out of it very well.
We've seen too many mistakes on special teams, penalties, stupid bonehead penalties. Simpkins trying to get outside, tried to stay on his feet. Picked up a few yards, but again, well contained by the defense, who doesn't seem to want to give up that touchdown, which at this point seems pretty academic, with only 30 minutes and 38 seconds left.
And in his first 9 carries, Calvin Simpkins had 44 yards. Since then, I can't remember more than a 2 or 3 yard gain from Calvin Simpkins. So the Jets have done a good job of using their team defense and speed to contain Calvin Simpkins, who we've seen all year long, continuously bust plays, make big plays, 60-yard touchdown runs, 60-yard pass catches, where he catches the ball 5 yards down the field, outruns everybody, maybe breaks a tackle. We just haven't seen that. The Jets defense has been too good.
looking for Jordan. And he's got Berge. But Berge can't hang on. Berge's first start at tight end tonight. He made a nice route, got open. But I guess he was thinking defensive end on that play and forgot to catch the ball, just deflected it.
Anybody else, I would have said that he said that he gator armed that one, but I think Ivanov just had to throw the ball again where his guy was going to catch it. He was pretty well covered, but if the pass would have been just a little bit more into him, he could have caught that for a TD. And it looks like we have fourth down here.
Yeah, fourth down, and the Thunderbolts can convert a first down inside the one. Jets got their ears pinned back. Ivanov got time to look, but got time to throw. Touchdown. And Jordan comes up with the saving touchdown. And the Thunderbolts look a little better on the scoreboard. They just wish they had another half to play.
Exactly right, and it's just too bad that it took this long before we saw some offensive execution. You would like to have seen that earlier when they had the opportunities to score before the Jets scored all their points. But if you're looking for moral victories, there's one right there. There's a small moral victory for the Oregon Thunderbolts as they score a touchdown on the Puget Sound Jets, and that's really no small feat because again they average only giving up 8 points a game, and the Thunderbolts have scored 9.
Well, let's see. Oh, I guess we have to say that all over again.
Yeah. I guess
26 to 10, down 16, and the Thunderbolts are thinking, 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points, 2 two-point conversions, and it's a tie game for overtime. But you got to go get that ball.
Exactly.
What did they do? They didn't even go get the ball.
You know, judging by the mannerisms, it looks like it's Mike Erickson wearing number 1. I don't know if that looks like Jeff Wood. Isn't Jeff Wood a little bit shorter than Mike?
Not much. He's a lot more stout, and that would be Jeff Wood.
That is Jeff Wood over there. Because I'm ready to get my binoculars over here to find out if that's Mike or not. Unless you can see Mike over there, and I can't. But to illustrate,
it wouldn't make sense to have Mike Erickson kicking when you got Jeff Wood here.
To illustrate my point.
Especially when he has all those administrative tasks to do.
Yeah, of which he has plenty. To illustrate my point about Calvin Simpkins, he was 9 carries, 44 yards in his first 9 carries. Since then, 12 carries, 21 yards.
And the Jets bring in their depth.
That's Kyle Allen, Portland State, who's in at the
He
quarterback.
played for the Thunderbolts at one point.
Yes, he did. So did a lot of people.
Kyle Allen has the smallest pass of any football player I've ever seen. I think my forearm is bigger than his calves. Nevertheless, he's a lot faster than me, and he's probably a lot better quarterback. I just want to be on the receiving end of a defensive end trying to break your leg when you have kind of
such small legs. Yes.
Yeah. Second down now, loss of 5. 2 minutes, 12 seconds left. Allen hands off again. That's 25. Who's had a big night. He's made a lot of yards on the ground against the Thunderbolts. And now we have a 2-minute warning. Jets ball. Jets lead 26-10.
2-minute warning.
Third down now. Third and about 15. Kyle Allen. Back to throw. Looking deep. Gonna try and run. Gonna get hit hard. Got the whole Thunderbolt defense on top of him.
Keeping the ball away from the Jets. Number 4, quarterback Kyle. Timeout on the field.
Looks like timeout maybe called by the Thunderbolts to save some clock. And it is. And it's now fourth down. And Andre Harris is getting ready. Oh, actually Van Velarde looking to return the supposed punt.
And at halftime, I was talking to your father, who is a reverend, and we were talking about wisdom. And right now, I don't see the wisdom of the Jets going back to pass with this big of a lead, with this much time left. I'm befuddled by this. Why even give the Thunderbolts a chance to intercept the ball, take the ball back for a touchdown, possibly get 2 points right on top of it,
and then be
come
in the
back
game?
Exactly.
Of which they are out.
Why would you want to give them a chance to let them back in the game at all? Why not just run the football, take the knee, whatever? Why are you throwing the football? I just don't get the wisdom of this. And if it is the Puget Sound Jets that win the Northwest Football League and represent the Northwest in the national playoffs, these are the kind of bonehead maneuvers I believe will lead to their downfall. This is not smart football. I respect Kenny Austin. I think he's a good coach. He was a great player, but I just don't get this right now. This is not the smart way to do this.
Velarde looking to run. And Velarde pounds would-be tacklers. And that was a big shot on Dressler, but Velarde had the attitude that you're not going to tackle me. You're going to hit me, and you're going to be hit on the way down. Typical Velarde. Velocity.
Yes, exactly
Velocity
right.
times mass equals impact.
I think I heard an algebra problem in there somewhere. Brought back bad memories. Don't do that anymore, please. But
Minus the cube of the air in the football and the shoulder pads.
minus protection squared or cubed.
Long ways to go. Minute 34 left. 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. And it's going to be Ivanov. Ivanov under pressure, under too much pressure. He looked like he had somewhere to throw it, but he thought better of it this time instead of last time when he unleashed the interception that may have turned this game around.
Timeout on the field.
And Brian Pittman, the defensive end / a week off. I mean, the Thunderbolts win 42-6 last week over Snohomish County. The Jets have the week off, and they come out with the mindset, and they come out and they do the job.
Again, big pressure on Ivanov.
Or perhaps he just lost control of the ball. I think Rod Nightingale was the intended receiver, but who knows what that was all about. But
I think it might have been the longest yard play.
I was thinking
number
about
82, who's been crashing on the defensive end all night.
Yeah, but if anybody's
just a little too low.
Yes, exactly right. If you've seen the longest yard, you know what we're talking about. But that was way too low. I think that would have been a little too obvious if he would have thrown it there. And once again, we're on the same page, which makes us good broadcasters, I think.
The Buccaneers have a week off, don't they?
Yes, they do. They have
they
this
have a
week
week
off,
off.
and then so that makes 2 weeks in a row that the Bolts will play a team that's coming off a week off, and that's going to be in the grasp for a sack. And let's hope that the Thunderbolts can take advantage of that, because I think the Bucs are not as veteran-laden or as talented as the Jets are, and maybe that week off will kind of cool them off a little bit.
Well, they're going to be loving. I think they're going to be loving this score if it's final. A minute.
And Kenny Austin just got the Gatorade or water splash or whatever. I think that's Kenny Austin down there. I believe that was number 72, so let's give credit where credit is due.
Well, now,
Deuce
wait a minute.
Washington,
the party's not over, is it? I mean, this game might be over, but all
Yeah.
you've done is gone to the playoffs.
This is very true, but and sure you've won this game and everything.
Isn't
but I
that
guess-
kind of like the Trailblazers Ryder and Jim Jackson celebrating after they beat Utah in the second round, going, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little too early but that's the Gatorade splash. We always say, well, that's of course a revolting development, but that's pretty much right there a microcosm of what has went on for the Oregon Thunderbolts in this game.
Well, you're down in the hole. You're trying to you're trying to make something happen. I don't want him to sit back there and get another sack. I'm glad he threw the ball up, and a very nice play by Calvin Simpkins to make sure he didn't get in the end zone.
And Kaiwan Miller is the guy who comes up with the interception, but again, that's it in a nutshell right there. It's just the execution was simply not there. One team came ready to play, and another one, it looks like, didn't. And
well,
unfortunately,
I think the Jets might have found an answer to this offensive line. They're big, they're slow. You can crash them, you can blitz them, you can send a lot of people and get around them. But you just have to stop the middle. And I guess the only answer to that is to take it outside. And I think the Thunderbolts tried to do that, but I think the secondary and the linebacking core of the Jets were up to that as well.
Right. They were up to the challenge, and you can tell, their veteran leadership, and they have enough talent that they got the job done. And so these are the things that the Thunderbolts are going to have to overcome in a possible playoff matchup with the Jets. Now there is that disgusting possibility that the Thunderbolts could fall all the way to fourth and have to meet these Jets again in the first round rather than the Northwest Football League championship game. But they have a lot of work to do here, and next week against the Bucs would be the time to do it, to get ready for that.
Well, we're having a choral arrangement on the sidelines from the Jet. That's probably actually the Jet starters and their second string combat the Thunderbolts. Kind of sounds like, I don't know, we are the champions or something
like that. Well, I think we are the Jets is what he's saying, as Kyle Allen had to throw that ball away on that last play, getting a rush from the Thunderbolts, something we haven't seen all day long. And unfortunately, it takes until 10 seconds left in the game before we finally see that from the Thunderbolt defense.
So, seconds, it's third down and 8. And a big disruptive defensive surge there should end this game on a positive note for the defense. But so far, the only positive notes that I've heard on this sideline were, we are the Jets. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Absolutely right. Outside of the 10 points that the Thunderbolts scored, not a lot went right for the Oregon Thunderbolts tonight.
So, next week, the Thunderbolts will be at Hare Field in Hillsboro.
Actually, no. Next week, they'll be at Jefferson High School for their last regular season game against the Multnomah County Buccaneers.
Excuse me.
Should they win that game, they will clinch second place, and then after the Labor Day weekend, which they will take off, then on September 9th, that's when they could possibly be at Hare Field again.
For the playoffs.
Exactly.
So we would like to invite all of the Thunderbolt faithful out to the Buccaneers game to sit on the visitor sidelines at Jefferson High School and root for the Thunderbolts, or just come on down and enjoy the party, enjoy the game, and even root for the Bucs. Heck, we don't care. We'll be there. And we'll be back here, as far as I understand, next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, same time, same place. I believe we have clinched airtime.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yes, I believe you're right. We have clinched airtime.
And I believe that also continues throughout the playoffs. So there will be Bolt Vision football on Tuesday nights until, well, you said the Labor Day weekend. We might even get a game on the off week if the cable gods are very good to us.
If the cable gods are very good to us. The people at AT&T Cable, we bow to you. We bow. Please. Please, 1,000 pleases. But
actually, I don't know. I don't know if they want to show this game again. Hopefully, they'll show a Multnomah County Buccaneers victory a second time. Could be a debacle if they lose that game. So the Thunderbolts could be falling all the way out of the playoffs if everything goes wrong for the rest of the season. But we're thinking we might get a home game as second seed in the Northwest Football League.
And a win next week at Multnomah County, at Jefferson High School against the Multnomah County Buccaneers will do that. They will clinch second place and a first-round home playoff game against an undetermined opponent, because every game except for one this week had some sort of playoff implication, either who made it or where people were. So we'll let you.
We'll let you know on that one
We'll
next
let you
week.
know next week.
First thing.
And it could be that after this week, things will be even more muddled than they were this week, or they could be all settled by then.
That's pretty scary. Well, this is Tim Adams and Drew Riley. Well, we're going to sign off now from Auburn, Washington. And hopefully we will see you, and you will see us next Tuesday and next Saturday.